Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Fluency Hacks, the podcast that helps you speak English with more confidence, more style, and a lot less stress. I'm your host, Sarah. Today, we are tackling the big, scary monster that lives in every English learner's closet. How to start a conversation, and more importantly, how to keep it going without it becoming, well, awkward. And to help us fight this monster, I have two amazing guests. Please welcome the brilliant Anna and the hilarious Paul. Welcome, guys.
Hi, Sarah. It's great to be here.
Hello! Thanks for having me. Ready to slay some conversation dragons, or monsters, whatever they are.
Excellent. So let's get right into it. That moment when you want to talk to someone, but your brain just freezes. Paul, have you ever had a really bad experience trying to start a conversation?
Oh, only about 1,000 times. I remember once I was in London trying to ask for directions. I practiced a sentence in my head 12 times. I walk up to a guy, and instead of saying, "Excuse me, could you help me?" I just blurted out, "You, help, map."
Oh, no.
He just stared at me like I was a caveman. I think he pointed in a random direction just to get me to go away. It was so embarrassing.
That's a classic. The panic just takes over. Anna, why do you think it's so hard? What's the psychology behind that fear?
I think it's a mix of things. It's the fear of making a mistake, the fear of not understanding their reply, and the biggest fear of all, the awkward silence.
Right, the silence.
Exactly. You ask your question, they answer, and then crickets. Just complete silence. That's what we want to help people avoid.
Okay, so let's get into the hacks. Hack number 1. How do we actually start? Anna, what's a simple, low-pressure way to begin?
My favorite technique is to use your environment. Make an observation about something you both share in that moment. It feels very natural. For example, if you're in a coffee shop, you could say to the person next to you, "Wow, the music in here is great, isn't it?"
I like that. It's not too personal. Paul, any other examples?
Totally! Or if it's raining outside, "I can't believe this weather. I forgot my umbrella." It's a complaint, but it's a shared experience. People love to agree on bad weather. Another great one is a compliment. Not on their appearance, that can be tricky, but on something they chose. Like, "That's a really cool laptop sticker," or "I love your tote bag."
Simple, effective, and safe. I love it. Okay, so we've started the conversation, but how do we get a good response? Anna, talk to us about questions.
This is so important. You need to use open-ended questions. These are questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. They usually start with words like who, what, where, when, why, and how. So instead of asking, "Are you having a good day?" which gets a yes or no, you could ask, "What's been the best part of your day so far?" It forces the other person to give you more information, which you can then use to continue the conversation.
That is a fluency superpower. It's a difference between a conversation that lasts 5 seconds and one that lasts 5 minutes. So we've started, we've asked an open question, but the dreaded silence is still waiting for us. Paul, how do we keep the momentum going?
My go-to move is what I call the echo and question technique. It's super easy. You listen for a key word in their answer, you repeat it, and then you ask a follow-up question about it.
Okay, give us an example.
Sure. Let's say you ask, "How was your weekend?" And they say, "It was good. I went hiking with my friends." Don't just say "cool." Echo the key word. You say, "Oh, hiking. That sounds fun. Where do you usually go hiking around here?"
That's fantastic. It shows you were actually listening, and it gives you an instant next question without having to think too hard.
Exactly. It makes you seem like a conversation genius. Anna, what other tools can we use to keep the conversation alive?
This is where active listening is key. You need to show you're engaged even when you don't have a question ready. Use small, encouraging words and phrases. Things like, "Oh, really? That's interesting. No way," or "Tell me more."
Conversation fillers.
Exactly. They're like little green lights that tell the other person, "Keep talking, I'm interested." It buys your brain time to think of the next open-ended question or something to share about yourself.
Brilliant. Okay, this is all gold, but every good conversation has to end. How do we escape without just awkwardly walking away? Paul, how do you make a graceful exit? These are all fantastic tools for getting the other person to talk, but conversation is a two-way street, right? Paul, what happens if we only ask questions and never share anything about ourselves?
The key is to be positive and clear. You just need a simple closing phrase. My favorite is, "Well, it was really great talking to you. I should probably get going now, but I hope you have a great rest of your day."
It becomes an interview, not a conversation. You have to give something for them to work with too. After they answer your question, try to find a connection to your own life.
That's perfect. It's polite, friendly, and it clearly signals the end of the conversation. I also like to reference something we talked about. It makes the connection feel more memorable.
Oh, how so?
Like, "It was so nice to meet you. Good luck with your hiking trip next weekend." It shows you remembered the details and wraps everything up nicely.
Fantastic advice. Wow, guys, we have built a complete conversation roadmap. Let's do a super quick recap of the hacks. That's a great point about making the connection feel complete. But I want to address one more fear that I know our listeners have. What if, in the middle of this great conversation you're having, you get completely lost? Someone uses an idiom you don't know, or they speak too fast, or their accent is difficult. What's the best way to handle that without stopping the conversation dead in its tracks?
Hack 1. Start by observing your shared environment or giving a simple compliment.
Hack 2. Use open-ended questions, starting with who, what, where, when, why, and how.
Hack 3. Keep it going with the echo and question technique. Listen, repeat, and ask.
Hack 4. Use active listening fillers like, "That's interesting," to show you're engaged.
And hack 5. End the conversation gracefully with a positive and clear closing statement. Anna and Paul, this has been incredibly helpful. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom.
Our pleasure.
Anytime. Go forth and chat, everyone.
And to all our listeners, remember, every expert was once a beginner. Don't be afraid to try. If you found these tips helpful, please subscribe to the English Fluency Hacks channel, give this video a big thumbs up, and share your own conversation stories in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. That's all for this episode of English Fluency Hacks. Until next time, keep learning and keep talking.